Clive Allen, one of the most talented forwards of his era, has recently confirmed the heated rumours regarding his personal life. Allen, who has achieved so many acknowledgments and milestones in his professional career, continuously struggled with his personal life, which undoubtedly affected the course of his game too. Let's take a look at how his own people destroyed his career. Allen was born on 20th May 1961 in Stepney, East London, into a family of footballers, quite literally. His father was the legendary Spurs double-winning forward, Les Allen, who had played for some of the top clubs, including Chelsea, Arsenal and Manchester City. Clive was also the elder brother of QPR forward Bradley, cousin and teammate of Paul Allen, and nephew of Dennis Allen. Logically, he was introduced and exposed to the game from a very young age. Football was like one of the first things that Clive grew up with. As he grew up, he would often go with his father to watch his games and training sessions. As a result of growing up in such a football-centric family, Clive's future with football was quite set, as he had a proper blueprint to follow. Still, he wasn't fed on a silver spoon and had to face and overcome his challenges like any other kid. To give you a context, Stepney during the 1960s was a post-war city that was still recovering from the misfortune of the past. In such a case, a game like football was much more than just a mere game. Football was one of the primary games played in the area, and as a result, the competition was as tough as you can imagine. One of the primary challenges for Clive during his early days was to prove himself better than everyone else and shine bright in the crowd. And to make all this possible, he had his father by his side. Les's professional career was almost at its end by the time Clive became old enough to play seriously. So, he would often go with his son to local parks and teach him different tactics and nuances of the game based on his excellent experience. It was from his father that Clive learned the values of discipline and respect towards the game. For Clive, his father was his first coach, but the sweetness of this relationship didn't last long. Clive and Les got into a huge feud later on, and it escalated to such an extent that they had to break down their relationship completely. Even in his autobiography, Clive has mentioned his sour relationship with his father and how it affected his professional career as well. He has also mentioned in his autobiography how he was born into a family that ruined his career totally. Almost every other man in the Allen family was playing football back then, and there was an inter-family competition going on constantly where Clive had to prove himself from time to time just to get the respect that he deserved. But this wasn't a healthy competition, and Clive had to suffer unbearable mental pressure that he could not even talk about to anyone. It was true that because of his father, Clive got a number of opportunities in different clubs and games, which was a privilege for other kids. But at the same time, it was also true that it brought upon him such high expectations that others would succumb to. Even before he made his professional debut, he was compared to his father, the legendary Les Allen. Can you imagine? And this was not all. He was still a student, and he was required to manage his academics in the best way possible too. And managing schoolwork and academics along with such rigorous and tiresome training sessions was no joke, especially for that young kid who has started to love the game. Despite coming from a background full of football, Clive was expected to be more focused in his studies as compared to the game, but he wasn't going to let it go that easily, was he? After years of hard training and consistent work, Clive finally got his breakthrough by getting admitted to the youth setup at Queen Park Rangers, a club where his father had already made his mark. His true skills shine with the QPR, but it wasn't without its own sort of challenges. As I said earlier, the competition was too tight, and in order to secure his place, Clive would constantly need to outshine his teammates, which wasn't an easy task. Another huge challenge for him was his physicality. You know, Clive wasn't a 6-feet-tall, muscular teen who signified power. Instead, he had a pretty sleek body that made on-field tackles and duels difficult for him. Sometimes he would even doubt himself and his talent, thinking he was wasting everything, but other times? Oh, he will use his unmatchable agility, technique, and trademark game-reading ability to compensate for his physical prowess. Clive professionally started his football career by debuting for the QPR in 1978 and soon became a prodigy of the game. At just the age of 18, Clive became the highest league scorer in England's 4 divisions. For QPR itself, the kid from Stepney scored 32 amazing goals in just 49 appearances, and it was his remarkable performance on the field that made him English football's first million-pound teenager when he signed with the club of Arsenal in 1980. Now, you might wonder that he had an amazing career at Arsenal and scored dozens of scores. But you are wrong. He did not. In fact, he did not even play a single game for the club. This was undoubtedly one of the most mysterious moments in the history of football when Clive was transferred to Crystal Palace without even playing one single game for Arsenal. After signing Clive for Arsenal, its then manager, Terry Neal, informed the reporters, "Our supporters deserve the best, and that is what I believe we have given them by buying Clive." However, just some days later, Allen started rumours linking him to Crystal Palace, and it surprised him to the highest extent. He even went ahead to ask about his from Neal, who confirmed that there was some truth in these rumours and that Allen was going to be swapped with Kenny Sansom. But why? That was Clive's question, and he got no valid reasons. He was just informed that he would not be playing the club's first games and that he should talk to Palace's Terry Venables. Amidst all this behind-the-scenes drama and controversy, Clive was eventually transferred to Crystal Palace in a swap deal, and the real reason still remains a mystery that even Clive himself would want to solve. However, as it turned out, transferring Clive was a very bad decision by Arsenal, as the 19-year-old forward shone brighter than even for Palace by becoming their top scorer in a mediocre season where everyone else seemed to be struggling hard. Allen was going pretty great with Palace and would have enjoyed an even much longer career with the club had it not been for that one insane incident in 1980. So, on the 6th of September 1980, Crystal Palace was playing against Coventry City in a high-intensity match where they desperately needed a victory. And after lots of counterplays and tactics, Palace finally got a scoring distance free kick that could change the game. Being the main striker of the club, Clive went ahead and took the free kick with a powerful shot that went into the goal and rebounded from the stanchion in an instant. It was a goal, a crazy goal that would change the course of the game completely. But wait, the referee did not consider it a goal at all. Allen and the whole team was in complete dismay as the referee ruled out that goal, mistakenly ruling that the ball had hit the frame of the goal. Ultimately, Palace lost that crucial match, and that free kick remained as a dark spot in Clive's remaining career. But the main controversy started when the match was replayed on television and the free kick was telecast in slow motion, which clearly showcased how the ball had gone inside the goalpost and then rebound. In just no time, Palace's fans conveyed their intense dissatisfaction toward the refereeing and the administrative department that was monitoring the game. To make things worse, some even accused the referee of being unfair during the match. Was that the case? It didn't seem so. If one thing was clear from this whole drama, that was the fact that the football industry needed more advanced technology, especially goal line technology. Fortunately, we have that today. This became one of the most notable professional controversies in Allen's life and would also become the reason for his departure from the club after playing just one season with them. Clive's next stop would be his debut team, QPR, which was now being managed by Terry Venables, the man who had signed Allen for Palace. For an already bad-shaped QPR, which was struggling in the second division, Allen scored 13 goals, but they weren't quite enough to secure a promotion. However, the very next season, Allen led the club to their first FA Cup final with his crucial goals against his former club, Crystal Palace, in the 6th round and West Bromwich Albion in the semi-finals. QPR might even have won their first FA Cup that season had Allen not got injured in the finals against Tottenham Hotspur. But when he came back stronger and scored 27 match-winning goals for the club before finally moving to Tottenham Hotspur at a price of £700,000. The money wasn't the highest of all, but what Allen was about to achieve with the club was completely out of his imagination. After making a near-perfect debut by scoring 2 goals against Everton, Allen played over 100 matches for the Spurs and scored 60 goals in the 4 years he spent with them. But here's an interesting fact. Allen scored 49 goals for the club in the 1986-97 season alone, which still stands as a club record to this date. This unbelievable performance also earned him the rare dual honour of Professional Footballers Association Player of the Year and Football Writers Association Player of the Year award. Not to mention, he won the Golden Boot that season too. Over the later years of his life, Allen continued to play for some other clubs, including the top clubs of Manchester United and Chelsea, but was not in the same shape and mindset as he used to be previously. One reason for this might be his deteriorating relationship with his father, Les Allen. There is no doubt that Clive knew how to read the tempo of the game perfectly, but when it came to analysing his personal life and situations, he was as clueless as one can be. His father, although being his first coach and mentor during his childhood, did not show any kind of support and encouragement to Clive when he was struggling to rise back in the industry. Instead, he would just taunt Clive that he could not achieve even half as much as he had done during his time. All this gathered up and started a heated feud between the father and the son, a feud so strong that it would eventually break their relationship at a very bitter turn. The feud between them was so bad that Clive's children were not even allowed to see their grandfather at any cost. No one knows the exact reason or the exact story behind this feud, since this is a completely personal matter. But whatever it was, it could have been sorted out if both of them wanted to. But we cannot judge either Les or Clive just on the basis of their personal relationship. Les was a legend of his era, and so was Clive. I mean, there is still no one in history who has scored 49 goals in a single season for a club. Yes, the life of Clive Allen wasn't as charming as one may expect it to be, since he was the son of a legendary footballer. He had his fair share of challenges and struggles at different stages of his life, both professionally and personally. But his love and respect for the game always kept him going, and that is something we all need to learn from him. There is always going to be tight competition, but you need to be the best out there. And no matter how many difficulties and challenges life throws at you, you should never give up and continue pushing yourself beyond the limits to achieve what you've always dreamt of. After an 18-years-long exciting football career, Clive announced his retirement during the 1995-96 season with Carlisle United and went ahead to become the caretaker for Tottenham Hotspur in the later years, once again showcasing his love for the game. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. If yes, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Sport Icons for more such interesting stories. I'll see you soon with another exciting video. Till then, stay entertained.